Hi, everyone. I'm so excited. I'm going to introduce to you Dorothy, and Dorothy is from Chicago, and she had a healing with me. So, why don't you kind of explain a little bit about how you found me and what was wrong and what transpired?
I was going through something with one of my children, and it was difficult. And I was having some nudges. I think, as I explained it to you, I was waking up in the morning and with this thought that you knew this before it happened. Don't you think something's going on here? And I thought, oh, I better pay attention to this. Within a day or two, I was working on something, a gerontology class that I teach. We were talking about death and dying, and in a research article, it mentioned a new life stage that will be coming forward, and that's the afterlife. Well, I laughed at that. And it indicated Windbridge research. So I went there, and all of a sudden the lights went on. I found you, and we talked, and I thought, I'm going to talk to this medium. She's going to tell me nonsense, and I'm going to dismiss all of this. And when I talked with you, my mouth was hanging open for about a week. And I thought, my faith that was in the toilet was pulled out and looking at me like, what is wrong with you? So I have had a lot of work to do in that area to work on the faith. But in going through a healing with you, it made me realize that this is ongoing. I mean, I didn't just validate some research that, there is a higher power. Um, Miracles can occur. And I was almost reluctant to accept them because it wasn't science in my opinion, but what can I say? Very
So,
powerful.
tell us what happened to you.
Well, in this group healing in particular, I was listening to you talk, and I had to go back and listen to it a couple of times because everything you said, it was like marching through my own body. Um, Particularly when you talked about the back of the right ankle. I have two steel plates there with 11 screws. Um, that were supposed to be removed never were, and I'm living with them. But how to pick up on that? And then the right knee, I'd had a fall, and I was, thinking about having that looked at. But the most bizarre was when you started with, we're looking at the right eye because we need to look at the good eye in order to help you with the one that's difficult. Deb, this is something I didn't talk to you about, and I had had cataract surgery. And the strange part is, the left eye was the first surgical procedure. It was an odd day where the surgery was delayed by 50 minutes, almost an hour. I was outside of that room and I heard the staff talking about this doctor having a hard time with a difficult patient. I believe he had dementia. And I had the strong urge, don't go today. You have to go home. And I kept ignoring it. And I went and had the surgery and I felt so sorry for this doctor. And as both eyes then were healing from this, I always had a little trouble with the left eye. It was like I couldn't get them to work together. I had an appointment some months after where the doctor, it wasn't the doctor who did the surgery, but one of his cohorts or whatever said, oh, everything's fine. We'll see you next year. And I'm telling him, no, it's not okay. So I'm thinking, well, it's in my head. That weekend, for the first time, I took a long drive to visit a friend. I could not function vision wise on the highway. I
Wow.
got onto an off ramp. Never did that in my life. That was quite scary. And with that, I went back to the doctor and I really got loud. You have to take a look at this. So when I went into the doctor's office, they rescanned the eyes. They did a lot of detailed work. The left eye, the lens is turned. So I have an IOL something lens, the quite expensive version to correct your vision where you'd never wear glasses again. And one of those had tilted. And the doctor that did the surgery was saying, I don't know about turning this. I don't know what his risk was. But anyway, to make a long story short, I went to another doctor. In between leaving doctor number one and going to doctor number two, I went through this healing with you. Okay, good idea, Deb, but what's it going to do? And then you mentioned the eyes. About 2 weeks before the second appointment, I noticed I'm not having trouble anymore. And, I'm thinking it's going to come back though, but isn't this nice? I've got a little break. I went to the new doctor and he said, I've got all of your records here. I know your previous doctor. He's a good doctor. I said, yes, yes, that's why I went there. He said, but I can see you had a lot of problems and it's fine now. And he said, I don't know what to say. I'm going to call your doctor if you don't mind and tell him that I put my hand on your forehead and it was a miracle you were healed. I wanted to say, well, I'm not giving you the credit. Um, but what I want to say is that's something that it couldn't possibly be readdressed without another surgical procedure. The lens manufacturer had tried to tell me that it's very typical that they will just turn that lens, that happens, not frequently, but we can fix that. My doctor was hesitant to jump right on it. And the new doctor had said they talked about that was the route they had to go, but he wasn't finding that problem in re-examining me. Somehow that lens attached to my eye straightened itself out.
And so, um, this second doctor, did he look at the scans over and over and over? Like, how could this be? Because is it
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
just wouldn't do it on its own?
Well, he had a real hard time with the fact that it was okay now. And I do recall sitting in the chair and he had a stack of papers from the other doctor. And he went to the scans that showed the lens on the eye and he kept saying a number, but you're at 70, but you're at 70. And I seem to remember when I was in my doctor's office, it was whatever, it was 40. It had turned to 40. I don't know what these numbers mean, but now it's 70 where it should be. And I don't understand. And he kept looking and he kept looking and I don't get it. Well, I'm just going to tell him I put my hand on your forehead and you were healed. It doesn't make any sense. The lens has turned. And I said, but it really was bad. I know I'm here and I'm good, but I had such a hard time. I would be able to use the computer for 2 hours in the morning, and then my eyes were shot for the day. I said I never appreciated my vision until I had lost it for the best part, and I don't know what to say. But I'm all better now, and I did not surgically have this fixed. Um, how do you explain this? I guess you don't. I guess it really is a miracle, and we're not going to let doctor number two claim it, but he was quick to do so.
Well, he almost validated it for you by saying, like, I'll just put my hand on, say that you're healed in an indirect way. Spirit, I think, was speaking through him. And you're probably like, if you only knew, if you only knew.
Kept going. Here's the picture. Here's your eye. Here's the picture. Here's your eye. They're not the same.
And so that had to change you, like your everyday.
I remember driving home from that appointment and my mouth was hanging open the whole way. And I just, for whatever reason, probably because I had no faith and no belief, it's been difficult for me to accept these miracles, but I have done so. Life is very different. I no longer ignore things I should be paying attention to. The world before me, the grace of God, how they may show us or speak to us. And what I always thought was nonsense before, I take very differently. I just am in awe that this is possible and it's possible through you.
Oh, thank you.
Um, it just, how do we explain this, Deb? How do we,
Well, the unexplainable is what the impossible is made possible. That's how I look at it. And I always say, when you can't explain something, but you know it, you saw it, you feel it, that's when you believe it, right? You stand in it. And there's no other question. You can't deny what happened. Your eyes better. And then when you can't, you have to just say thank you to the divine.
and we have the pictures. We have the pictures.
We have the proof.
Yeah.
That's what's great.
And as I re-listened to that healing, I can remember you saying the pain you were feeling. And my heart broke that you go through that for other people. However we look at that, I mean, it's a miracle, but your role is still, um, it's unbelievable. It is unimaginable. Um,
Oh, thank you for saying that. I kind of explained that at the beginning of the session. You might hear me endure some pain because it may be really hard. But when I feel it, it's like I don't deny it then, right? Because this is really happening. I'm physically feeling this. And so if I'm physically feeling it and you're hearing it, you can't make that up. And then when that's over, I look at it as a gift. This is a gift of knowing and a gift of feeling. And I don't hold on to it after.
okay, my thought was, this is your gift and you're in pain. I apologize for that. But look at this. How do we explain this? So I guess what I have to believe is now I need to acknowledge the miracles that occur all the time. I have to stop passing some things off as a lucky break. I have, it's been a lot of work to change that mindset. And I am forever grateful for you to turning me around. That had to be like turning a mountain around. Um, I didn't go willingly, but yet I hold proof in my hands or in my eyes. It is still, it's unbelievable, but it is proven.
Is proven. And thank you for sharing your story. It's just beautiful and taking the time. You are a miracle.
You
You
are,
are.
you are the biggest blessing we have. So thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.